Ladies and gentlemen, the academic procession is about to enter the hall. We will be singing the National Anthem, the words of which are available on page 11 of the program. Please now stand for the academic procession and remain standing for the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page on every stage, advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. I, Catherine Branson, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, declare open this congregation convened for the purpose of presenting degrees. Distinguished guests, especially Mr. James Stephens MP, today's orator, parents, relatives, friends, and especially graduates, welcome to the University of Adelaide's graduation ceremony. Gana Miana, Gana Yata, Nadlu Tampindi. In English, we acknowledge that we're on the lands of the Kaurna people. We acknowledge the Kaurna people, past and present, as the original custodians of the Adelaide Plains and thus of the land on which the University of Adelaide's campuses are built. We acknowledge their ongoing spiritual connection to this land. Graduation days are wonderful days. They're days of joy, celebration of hard work, leading to achievement. Graduates, your graduation is an event in which you and your family, which I'm sure has supported you, and your friends who have supported you also, can look on with pride. It's a great source of pride, I know, for you, and you should know it's also a source of pride for the university itself and the staff of this wonderful university who have taught you in the years leading up to today. Graduation Day is a day for you to reflect both on the past and on the future. This day may well signal a significant change in direction in your life, whatever direction your life takes from here. The knowledge that you have gained, the skills that you have learnt and developed here should stand you in good stead, both in your working and professional life, and we hope in your private life as well. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today's graduation orator, who, as I have mentioned, is Mr. James Stephens, MP. Mr. Stephens was elected to the House of Representatives for the South Australian seat of Sturt in 2019. The Sturt electorate extends from Myrtle Bank in the south to Hope Valley in the north, from Hackney in the west to Rostrevor in the east. It misses our university only by a block or so. Before entering Parliament, James served as the Chief of Staff to the Premier of South Australia, the Honourable Stephen Marshall MP, having served earlier as his Chief of Staff in opposition. Prior to this, James worked in the wool industry as General Manager at Michelle Wool. James serves on a number of standing committees in the Parliament, including the Joint Standing Committee on Electoral Matters and the House of Representatives Standing Committee on Tax and Revenue. We're privileged to hear from him today. Please join with me in welcoming Mr. James Stephens.
The Honourable Catherine Branson, AC QC, Chancellor, Professor John Williams, Acting Provost, distinguished guests, members of staff, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2021. Can I start by thanking you for the honour of being invited to address you all today? I'm a very proud alumnus of this university. I know that I would not have achieved what I have in my life were it not for the education I received here at the University of Adelaide. An education from this institution is priceless. Some of you may already know this, others of you will come to know it. All of you graduating today are the better for it. In the near proximity to where we are meeting today, 5 Nobel Prize winners have both studied and taught. Sir William Bragg, his son Sir Lawrence Bragg, Lord Howard Florey, Dr. Robin Warren and J.M. Coetzee. Howard Florey, as the pioneer of penicillin, saved the lives of hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people across the world. He is beyond question the greatest humanitarian in the history of this country. Champion sports people, heroes of the battlefield, life-saving physicians, eminent jurists and captains of industry are all product of this institution that you have had the honour to attend and today become alumni. Julia Gillard, the first female Prime Minister of Australia, is one of our most distinguished graduates, and countless former premiers and governors have also attended the university. Very importantly, I do not highlight the university's heritage for arrogance or to instil a sense of collective superiority. Quite the opposite. It is humbling to have a connection to such venerable fellow old scholars, and I hope that it helps to provide you with a sense of inspiration as to what you can achieve in whatever your endeavours will be in life. Being here today in Bonython Hall brings back memories for me of my own graduation day. When you graduate, it is natural to think about your future, in particular your career, and where the degree you have obtained today can take you in life. 15 years ago, most of my fellow students had dreams beyond South Australia. They saw their future in Sydney or Melbourne or Hong Kong or New York or London. Fair or not, they believed that opportunity was limited here in Adelaide. At the time, I didn't share that view, and I have spent my entire career based here in Adelaide. But even if my peers were right when they saw greater opportunities abroad 15 years ago, it is certainly no longer the case. My simple message to all the graduates today is that your future is here in Adelaide. We often compare our city, state and nation with others in more light-hearted ways. Until the last year, state and national pride would be expressed on the sporting field. We would brag to our friends from other countries about our beautiful beaches, lovely wines, open space, unique wildlife and our cosmopolitan, multicultural society. The value of our beautiful city and state has become acute in the past 12 months, as a new comparison has inevitably been one of safety and security. Relief and hopefully a gratefulness we hadn't fully appreciated, that we do live in a special place. As a member of the Commonwealth Parliament, one of the great privileges of my role is to participate in citizenship ceremonies. I was lucky enough to have been born in and to have grown up here in Adelaide. When you attend one of these events, you are welcoming and congratulating people who have chosen Adelaide to be their home and where they wish to build a future for themselves and their families. Making the decision to move to another country is a big one. When I speak with people who have made this decision, they invariably have the same reason. They left a country where they didn't have an optimism about the future and chose to start a new life in the country they felt had the brightest future of all, Australia. That is the greatest compliment that someone can pay, and it underlines the reality that we have pride in our past, but most importantly, we should be excited about our future. This university has undoubtedly been the greatest contributor to innovation and entrepreneurship to this state. There would have been tens of thousands of businesses created on the strength of the teachings and friendships of this institution. You are the most recent cohort that can take the learnings and experiences of your time here to make whatever future you desire. Now, in the year 2021, your dreams can take you not just beyond our shores, but indeed beyond our atmosphere. We are a mere 100 metres along North Terrace from the headquarters of the Australian Space Agency, which will anchor the ecosystem of an industry that will undoubtedly be the fastest growing for the remainder of this century. And let's not forget that Dr. Andy Thomas, Australia's first astronaut, is another esteemed graduate of this university. This underscores the point, however, that your global career can be based right here in our beautiful city. I really do believe the new mantra, live local, work global. There is unlimited opportunity to achieve everything you want in your career being based right here in Adelaide. We have some of the most globally competitive, cutting-edge businesses in the world, but more importantly, there are limitless opportunities to create new ventures in the industries of the future. You've been equipped with the finest education from this university. You can achieve unbelievable things in your careers, and you can most definitely change the world. Whilst I'm excited about our future here in Adelaide, we need all of you to be a part of it for that optimism to become a reality. The important thing today is that you can not only change the world, but you can do it from right here in South Australia. I hope that you're all excited. I hope that you are looking forward to your future. It has been an honour to address you today, and I congratulate you once again on your magnificent achievement. Thank you.
On behalf of the graduates and families attending today's ceremony, I would like to thank Mr. James Stephens for his address. We are honoured that you have taken the time to join us on this special day to share with us your thoughts and experiences. Your words of encouragement and advice are greatly appreciated. They remind us that education places upon each of us an enduring responsibility to make the best possible use of our talents and to contribute to the betterment of society in whatever way we can. Please join me in once again thanking Mr. James Stephens.
I will now receive the candidates for degrees. I call on the Acting Provost.
Chancellor, I, Professor John Williams, Acting Provost of the University of Adelaide, certify to you and to the whole university that the graduates who you will be presented to you have fulfilled all the conditions prescribed for the admission to the awards for which they are presented.
I, Catherine Branson, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, by virtue of the power committed to me by the University, confirm that each graduate is admitted to the rank and privileges of a holder of the award in the University of Adelaide for which they are so presented. I call on the Executive Director and Professor of the Centre of Global Food and Resources, Professor Wendy Umberger, to present the graduates.
Chancellor, I, Executive Director of the Center for Global Food and Resources, Professor Wendy Umberger, present to you the graduates from the Center for Global Food and Resources. To the Graduate Certificate in Global Food and Agricultural Business, Naila Izzat. To the degree of Master of Global Food and Agricultural Business, Kai Howen. Dakuru Rohith Reddy. Jing Yi Wang. Hari Krishnan Kesavarajan. Matthew James Fuller Ladd. King Yi Lin. Wei Te Lu. Manaj Kumar Maluru Kumar. Sinindra Kumar Reddy Pareddy. Navin Prabhu Raja. Sukanya Treason. Shiying Singh. Manjunath Valetti. Dharani Visan Viswaru Pakasavan. And Indu Yala Madi. To the degree of Master of Agribusiness, Nekta Nicolau. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Horticultural Farming and Development Outcomes, examining human and social capital investment among horticultural households in rural Indonesia, Fasara Kumtara. And for a thesis entitled Understanding Adaptation and Water Market Behavior of Irrigators and Non-Landholder Stakeholders in the Murray-Darling Basin, Konstantin Zidal. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the Center for Global Food and Resources.
Chancellor, I, Head of the School of Economics, Professor Gareth Miles, present to you graduates from the School of Economics. To the degree of Bachelor of Economics, Jackson Gregory Agnew. Lucas John Bragnola. Brendan John Davis. Stephen George Fotopoulos. Andrew Thomas Fulgribe. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Angus Declan John Heaton. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Brooke Alexandra Hill. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Sophie Jacques. Hannah Caitlin Lesky. E. Liu. Jordan Luke Majewski. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Jan Lawrence Neuer. Sarah Jane Pardon. Ella Anastasia Peirce. Mitchell Connor Stewart. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Madeleine Claire Sweet. Adam Max Turner. Bowden Alexander Watkins. And also receiving the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Andrew Charles Wright. To the degree of Bachelor of Economics Advanced, Alan Abraham. Anton Avdiv. Zachariah Craddock. Michael Thomas Di Paolo. Max Douglas. Angus Jack Edwards, Isaac Javier Elias, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Hugo Richard Falbushmore. Vincent Hemmings Kavanagh, Gabriella Huser, Shan Jawadana, Ben Carnon, Matthew Kroon, Hungi Pan, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Ethan Jack Penglaze. Andre Michael Annesley Pereira, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Laws, James David Rodder. Henry William Sagenschnitter, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Nurmitala Safidin. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Laws and the Diploma in Languages, John Hamilton Swan. And also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Madison Victoria Terrell. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Economics, Tobias Genborg. Kimia Gamorski, Olivia Page Loxton, Sebastian John Porter, Michael Campbell Robinson, Liam Mitchell Scott, Mohammed Kifli bin Shahabuddin. And Isaac Vozo. To the degree of Master of Applied Economics, Simon Robert Barnard. Hui Bing Chia. Gerline Cower, Kaunaga Hahia Violetti, and Bo Hong Chen. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the School of Economics. I now present to you graduates from the Institute of International Trade. To the degree of Master of International Trade and Development, Selina Anich. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the Institute of International Trade.
Chancellor, I, Dean of Law, Professor Melissa de Zwart, present to you graduates from the Adelaide Law School. To the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Matthew William Thomas. Charles Donald Toy. Bianca Tramaglino. Kim Tien Tran. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Avery Trong. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Nicholas Basil Sakalos. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, William Andrew Van Dissel. Ryan Grant Varga. Isabella Venables. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Dane James Venning. Edward Tolma Verco. Also receiving the Diploma in Languages, Brooke Carolyn Washerson. Gabriello Clement White. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Vanessa Wood. And April Sherry Zimmerman. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Laws, Lachlan Robert Blake. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Ben D'Andrea. Lauren Kate Fletcher. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Accounting and the Diploma in Languages, Henry Charles Matern-Smith. Alice Elizabeth Osborne. Eva Marie Squire. Christine Huyen Vu. And also receiving the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Flynn Worth Wells. To the Graduate Diploma in Legal Practice, also receiving the degrees of Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Criminology, Ashley Jean Allen. Paul Anthony Dolman. Murtaza Ali Dostar. Christopher Joseph Duluk. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Petrula Azimina Gretsis. And Catherine Canelos. To the degree of Master of Laws, Brett Ashley Schumann. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Married Women's Litigation in the English Court of Chancery, 1698 to 1758, Emily Ireland. Chancellor, this now concludes the presentation of graduates from the Adelaide Law School and for this ceremony.
Chancellor, every year the university grants university medals to acknowledge the most outstanding graduates in each faculty who have completed the University of Adelaide bachelor's degree with honours or a bachelor degree with at least 4 years duration. The university medals are awarded to them for their consistent outstanding performance across the whole of their undergraduate degrees. I, Professor John Williams, Acting Provost of the University of Adelaide, present to you the recipients of the 2020 University Medal for the School of Economics. Kimia Gomeshi. And Sebastian John Porter. Chancellor, University Doctoral Research Medals are awarded to graduates who have completed outstanding research at a doctoral level. This award is a premier award for doctoral candidates at the university. I, Professor John Williams, Acting Provost of the University of Adelaide, present to you the recipient of the 2020 University Doctoral Research Medal for research in the field of law, Emily Ireland.
I'm very pleased now to present to you Max Douglas, who was presented this afternoon with the Bachelor of Economics Advanced. Max Douglas will now give the Valedictory Address on behalf of the cohort of graduates who are presented with their awards today.
Chancellor, faculty, staff, family, friends, and of course fellow graduates. It's an honour to deliver the Valedictory Address today. Today is a special day. It's a time to celebrate. While each of us has forged a different path to the University of Adelaide, and each of us will, no doubt, forge a different path as we continue in life, we're united this afternoon by our shared experience as graduates. Today we commemorate, fondly or otherwise, the common experiences which have unquestionably characterised our tenure. The late nights fueled by seemingly unpotable instant coffee, the group assignment members who magically appear an hour before the deadline, and more recently, the perennial technology issues which enrage and amuse us as we work and study from home. Today is, however, also a time to celebrate our failures. It is no use basking in the triumph of our achievements if we cannot be humbled by and appreciate the value in our failures. Each and every one of us, myself included, has faced what I'm sure we once considered insurmountable obstacles, such as Virginia's first-year mathematics class. But as evidenced by your presence here today, each of you has risen to your respective occasion. Learn to love your challenges and your failures, because they will, in return, reciprocate that love. As my grandfather always says, if a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing badly. Today is, perhaps more importantly, a time to reflect. It would be a mistake for me to pretend that our collective experience over the past 12 months has been remotely comparable to that preceded it. Though we've thankfully remained in relative safety, the COVID-19 pandemic fundamentally changed our experience as students. Many of us have had to put our dreams on hold. We've had graduate offers rescinded, exchanges cancelled, and plans foiled. We've been confined to our bedrooms, watching Zoom lectures, substituting human proximity for technological distance in the service of the greater good. This experience is not trivial. When I look at each of you, I see resilience, grit, and adaptability of this in the face of this adversity and change. While we would naturally have hoped for this experience to never have happened, it has, without a doubt, changed us forever. I am certain that, years from now, the class of 2020 will be remembered as the cohort that braved a once-in-a-century pandemic and were better for it. Each of us was presented with a choice: to despair or to see the opportunity laying hidden, waiting to be grasped. The opportunity to reflect, the opportunity to connect, and the opportunity to reset. And from my conversations with many of you, I'm certain that almost all of you chose the latter. We are ever grateful for the way in which the State of South Australia and the University Administration handled the pandemic response, facilitating online learning and the smooth but gradual return to the classroom. We have been incredibly lucky. Most students across the world have, however, not shared in these same fortunes. It's estimated that children across the world have lost, individually, an average of 74 days of education, culminating in over 112 billion days of education lost, disproportionately affecting the world's poorest children, girls, and those without access to technology. It is difficult to not succumb to the gloom of such statistics, but I do not despair. When I look at each and every one of you, I see solutions-focused graduates in the law and social sciences, who have developed a toolkit, but more importantly, an attitude which will allow you to stare such pressing issues in the eye. And with the COVID-19 downturn bringing world hunger once again to the fore, the graduates among us of the Centre for Food and Global Resources have a particularly key role to play. And it is no coincidence that the UN World Food Programme was recently awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Today is most importantly a day to express our gratitude. Each of us has been supported throughout our journey by our own unique support network, which has ultimately guided us to where we sit today. From our parents to our friends, to our teachers, professors, mentors, university staff, and innumerable others, I'd like to take this opportunity to briefly thank you on behalf of today's cohort. To the faculty, we thank you for your patience, encouragement, and knowledge. To the university staff, we thank you for your unrelenting work behind the scenes in support of our education. It has not gone unnoticed. And to our families, thank you, we love you. Individually, I'd like to thank my fellow cohort of economics graduates, some of whom I've been lucky enough to call my friends. It is said by some that we know the price of everything but the value of nothing, but I wholeheartedly disagree. You will know the value of hard work, friendship, and of each other, and I cannot wait to see what you will achieve. To my parents, I owe you everything. it's because of you that I'm here today. Thank you for giving me a strong constitution that I'll carry with me for the rest of my days. To my father, Andrew, thank you for teaching me the value of hard work and endowing me with a certain Douglas stubbornness. And to my mother, Catherine, thank you for inspiring me a love of learning. As the son of a proud South Australian General Motors family, my graduation today represents a new chapter in a story, an Australian story, a story of change, of social mobility, and of hope. And I hope today commemorates a new chapter for you and your families also. My journey at the University of Adelaide has been an exciting and rewarding one. And while it is not yet complete, I'm thankful to the countless individuals and experiences which have shaped this journey and continue to today. The University of Adelaide is an exceptional educational institution, and we are collectively so thankful to have had the opportunity to experience a world-class education and to have been exposed to the light of new knowledge. But if the past year has taught us anything, it is through our experience that we truly learn. It is our experience, along with our knowledge, which will steady our hand as we prepare to navigate this ever-changing world. Experience is the greatest teacher of wisdom, wisdom which will guide us and light our path as we move into our next chapter. As the class of 2020, we will no doubt be the wisest cohort in a very, very long time. Before we depart today, perhaps for some of us, for the very last time, I'd like to leave you with a passage about the primacy of such wisdom from my favourite novel, Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha. Wisdom cannot be imparted. Wisdom that a wise man attempts to impart always sounds like foolishness to someone else. Knowledge can be imparted, but not wisdom. One can find it, live it, do wonders through it, but one cannot communicate and teach it. Thank you.
Having congratulated you individually as you cross the stage, it now gives me great pleasure to congratulate the entire group of students who graduated today. Be proud of what you've achieved, and remember those who supported you to reach this important day in your life. I include in that, of course, your families, your close friends, but also remember the staff of this fine university who were so gratified by the success that you've demonstrated by being here today. I wish you every success as you enter this new and exciting stage in your life. You are now graduates of the University of Adelaide, and therefore not only its alumni, but also its ambassadors. Over the years since this university was established, its alumni have made enormous contributions, not just in this country, but around the world. You join this community today, a community of over 147,000 individuals. This community is located in more than 134 countries, and we have 17 global alumni networks, including 8 international networks. I urge you to give serious consideration to joining them. I would like now to take the opportunity to thank our mace bearer, Sebastian, and the valedictorian, Max, and all who assisted in the organisation and running of today's ceremonies. I now ask all of the graduates to remain seated while I invite everybody else to stand, and now join with me in once again congratulating the graduates on their achievements. Would the audience please now remain standing, and I ask the graduates to now stand for the academic recession. Once the academic recession has left the hall, we ask guests to please remain at your seats until directed to exit by staff. I now declare this congregation adjourned.